Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a skill that can, no joke, completely change your career trajectory: building real professional connections. We're going to break down how you can stop thinking of networking as a chore and start seeing it as your most powerful tool. So, yeah, let's jump right in.
So let's just be real for a second. For a lot of us, the word networking just feels kind of gross, right? It makes you think of those awkward happy hours, forcing small talk, and collecting business cards you'll never use. But what if that whole picture is just wrong? What if there's a better way to think about it? One that's less about collecting contacts and more about building genuine relationships. And that's exactly where we need to start, by completely reframing the idea. Let's throw out the word networking for a bit. We're not talking about that anymore. We are talking about relationship building. It might sound like a small change, but trust me, this shift in mindset is everything. Now, the most important word on this slide is deliberate. This isn't about bumping into people by accident and hoping for the best. No, this is an intentional, strategic, and super important ethical process of connecting with people who can help you, and just as importantly, who you can help too. It's also really important to understand how this is different from, say, teamwork. Teamwork, that's all about getting a specific project done right now with your immediate team. Relationship building, on the other hand, is the long game. It's about building a strong, diverse network that will be there for you way beyond whatever project you're working on today. So, how do we actually do this? How do we get better at it? Well, like any other skill, it's something you can level up. And it all starts with the foundation, the first two levels that absolutely everyone needs to get right: establishing rapport and then turning that into a real connection. Okay, level 1. This is square one. It's all about making that first genuine connection, something that goes a little deeper than just a quick hello in the hallway. This is where the whole thing starts, and it's built on a few really simple behaviors. The big idea here is to move the conversation from being purely transactional to something a little more personal. This means you're the one making the effort. You're talking about what's new in the industry, or you're asking about their weekend, and you discover you both love hiking. It's about having a real conversation that isn't just about a task you need done. It's about seeing the person behind the job title. So here's a little self-check for you. Ask yourself this question: are you actually starting these kinds of conversations? Or are you just kind of waiting for someone else to do it? Being proactive, even in this small way, is absolutely key to level 1. All right, so you've made that initial connection. Great. Now we move up to level 2. The goal here is to take that spark of rapport and turn it into something that actually lasts. This is all about cultivation. This is where you get a lot more intentional. We're talking about things like scheduling a quick 15-minute coffee check-in every few months, initiating a team lunch, or just genuinely asking someone about their career goals and what they're working on. You're proactively tending to the relationship. The entire mindset of level 2 really boils down to this question: are you putting in the time and effort to build these relationships when you don't actually need anything from them? That's how you build what we call relationship capital. It's like a bank account of goodwill and trust that you can draw from down the road. And that brings us to the real turning point. Once you've built that foundation, once you've cultivated those connections, well, level 3 is where you start to strategically and ethically use that network to make things happen. This is where the magic starts. This whole process can be broken down into 3 pretty clear steps. First, you've got development. You're still building and maintaining those key relationships. Then comes activation, which is all about learning to spot the perfect moment to reach out. And finally, utilization. That's when you actually leverage that connection to, say, break through a roadblock or open a door. And the payoffs here are huge. This is when you can call up a contact to get a warm introduction to a key decision maker, or you use that rapport you've built to get a critical project the support it needs. But the most important thing is that last point. You have to do all of this while keeping the relationship's integrity intact. It has to be a win-win. All right, let's talk about the masterclass levels. Levels 4 and 5. This is where you go from just being a player in the game to being the one who designs the board. This is the strategic end game of relationship building. So level 4 is where you become a hunter, not just a gatherer. What I mean is, instead of just nurturing the connections you happen to stumble upon, you start strategically identifying the exact people, the exact organizations you need to be connected with, and then you figure out a smart way to make it happen. This means you are actively mapping out who you need to know, you're finding creative ways to get an introduction that provides value to them first, And then you patiently nurture that relationship, building trust over time, maybe for a collaboration that won't even happen for years. It's about playing chess, not checkers. And that finally brings us to the absolute pinnacle, level 5. This is where you become a true network architect. You're not just building individual connections anymore. You're designing and managing an entire sophisticated ecosystem of relationships that serves the long-term goals of your whole organization. See, at this level, it's not just about who you know. It's about architecting influence. You're the one systematically creating this web of connections. You're gathering intelligence from one area, and you're finding solutions by connecting people from completely different parts of your network. You literally become the central hub that makes everything work better. So, now that we've walked through all 5 levels, the big question is, where do you see yourself? Let's take what we've learned and use it as a tool for a little bit of honest self-reflection. Seriously, take a second and think about this. Can you think of a specific time you intentionally invested in a relationship, not because you needed something right away, but just because you saw potential? How did it turn out? Your answer to that tells you a lot about where you're currently at. And what about keeping things going? This question really gets to the heart of level 2. What's your actual system for staying in touch with people when there isn't a pressing work reason? Is it something you do proactively, or is it more random and reactive? Now, here's the most important thing to take away from all of this. While sure, some people just seem to be naturals at this, relationship building is absolutely 100% a learnable skill. It doesn't matter where you are right now, you can practice these things and consciously level up. So let's end on this one thought. Your professional network isn't just some list of contacts on LinkedIn. You could argue it's the single greatest asset you have in your entire career. So the only question left is, are you treating it that way? Are you actively, deliberately, and strategically building it?
Hi, today we're talking about a powerful interview skill that often gets underestimated: building professional connections. This isn't just about networking or being outgoing. Interviewers ask about this to understand how well you build trust, nurture relationships, and create long-term value for your organization. Building professional connections starts with simple rapport, taking the time to connect with people on a human level through conversation and shared interests. But strong candidates don't stop there. Over time, they intentionally maintain relationships, check in regularly, and show genuine interest in others' goals and challenges, even when there's no immediate benefit. At higher levels, interviewers look for candidates who can leverage relationships responsibly, using their network to remove obstacles, connect the right people, or move important work forward while maintaining trust. At the most advanced level, strong professionals think strategically about relationships, deliberately cultivating networks that support long-term organizational success. When answering interview questions about relationship building, use the STAR method. Clearly explain the situation, who the relationship involved, what actions you took to build or maintain trust, and the result. Focus on outcomes like stronger collaboration, better access to information, or long-term partnerships that benefited the organization. What really stands out is showing that your relationships are built on respect, consistency, and mutual value, not short-term gain. That's what interviewers are listening for. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time for more career tips right here on Ace the Job Interview. Take care, and good luck with your next interview.